I wanted to talk about something which is really painful and at the same time it's really important. So each of us has some duties, but we don't always know where did these duties come from. Okay, so now we already have our purpose, let's say, and we know that okay, we want to, or we have our mission. We want to change the world. We want to make people better and yeah, contribute to their development. Or maybe you want to do scientific progress, or maybe you're dreaming of making the world more beautiful or more fun. Anything. It could be anything. And then there is the routine. Okay, so there is always something you have to do. And I want you to write a couple of things that you have to do, the things that you are obliged to do. Okay, so just make a list. Maybe not a couple, just free yourself and write all of them, or just write several to try it out. Okay, so among those could be what? Like cleaning or making your home assignment, or maybe you have to be a good son or a daughter, or you have to, I don't know, be polite to people, or you have to plant, water the flowers, or you have to take a walk every now and then, or you have to exercise, you have to look good, or anything. So these things are totally individual and they come from your background and they come from certain places in your life and they could differ from each of you. I just named something that could work for me maybe. And then you're gonna ask yourself questions about this. These questions will help you check whether you actually have to do this or maybe not so much. Okay, um, let's say you have to make an assignment for this class. Let's take an easy example. What is it justified by? I sent you that assignment in advance and then you have to do it. What is your priority now? So, for instance, you're not doing so much now, and generally, you don't have to write your thesis or you don't have a really demanding, highly intellectual job. So, it's quite a priority for you now to study. What are the new opportunities that it's opening for you? Okay, if you do the assignments for this class, you're probably going to learn something about yourself. You're going to have opportunities to discuss something with your classmates, and maybe you can teach something to your friends. Um, what has forced or created this have tos? This is easy. This was the fact that you enrolled this university, that you enrolled this class, and that I decided to give you this task. Okay? Whose expectations are this? These are my expectations, and maybe also your expectations, because you might think, okay, I just want to do well in this class, and I just want to learn something, and by practicing, yeah, I expect myself to practice to get better. So that's also your expectation. What are they gonna you in reality? Lead you to in reality? They're gonna lead you to the fact that you're gonna learn something. You're gonna find some interesting things about yourself that you didn't think about before. Okay, and then you will share it with your classmates, and maybe you will feel reinforced about this. Maybe you will see that okay, this is um, not so, yeah, this is productive or this is not so productive. At the same time, there could be an unproductive example of something that you're doing. For instance, you would say that, I have to, if I post pictures on Instagram, they have to be liked or they have to be commented, or I have to post on Instagram every now and then. What is it justified by? Literally nothing. What is your priority now? Definitely not Instagram. What are the new opportunities that it's opening for me? Okay, maybe some of my friends will know what's going on in my life. Maybe they're gonna start a conversation with me. What has forced or created this have to? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I don't know. Like this is a deep question, and then maybe it is that other people are doing that, and I'm also doing that, and this is just everybody has to be present. Okay, um, whose expectations are this? I think these are my expectations towards myself, and then maybe of some people I know, but not really so much real expectations. And what is it going to lead me to in reality? If I keep on thinking like this, maybe it will get too much of my time, or I won't have time for my priorities. You see, okay, this is a simple example, um, which I will definitely think about now. And you can reflect on your own things, right? Like this, it could be anything. Okay, good luck with that, and feel free to share it in the class. Yes, and this is how, by analyzing things like me and Instagram, uh, you might come to conclusion that, okay, I have to say no to some things. If it's not my priority, maybe it's time to stop doing this, and I don't need to read all those news on Facebook, or maybe somebody asked me something, and I don't really need to do that because that's not my job. Okay, and if someone said clean up my apartment instead of me, or can you pay my bills instead of me, would you say no to something like this? Yes, of course, unless there is a good reason for that. If their hand is broken, or I don't know, if they are super broke, maybe you will help, but otherwise no. Why don't you obtain the same kind of mindset with your own priorities? At the same time, consider your culture and consider your family customs, because in certain cultures it's just not so, as we already learned, it's not so direct, so you don't have to say no into people's face, or say no to some things without telling others. So if you want to skip the assignment, and because you're ill and you barely move your hands, you don't want to just skip it, or not attend the class, for instance, just write a letter to your teacher, or call your friend and say that, okay, this is not so good for me right now, and this is why, and this is why. So you have to be able to say no to things, but at the same time you have to consider, how ecological is this, how does it influence your environment. Okay, let's move forward. um, I want to introduce some more concepts. These are external locus of control and internal locus of control. So, with external locus of control, this is something that people do when they externalize both success and failure. So, they say that, okay, if I won this prize, this was because I was lucky. So, there were some external forces that made it happen. Or this is because, oh, someone helped me. Okay, this is how also the learned helplessness works. You can Google this. There were some interesting experiments with animals to develop this concept, but generally it means that if person comes across the situation that they can't really do something for multiple times, um, at the end they just stop trying, even if the surrounding lets them do this. So if many times I failed in the contest, or I failed in the exams, or something like this, and I'm offered to take another exam, I would not be really happy about this, and I would always externalize the reasons for it. And I would say that just the world is unjust and it just doesn't work for me. Okay, and the internal locus of control, this is something that people assign the reasons of the events to their internal self. So they think that I'm the cause of the events that happen in my life. And males tend to be more internal locus of control than females when it comes to personal success. So if man and a woman win a running contest, the man would say like, "Oh, that was me. I was like training so well." And maybe a woman would be more likely to say that, "Yeah, I was just lucky," or the others were weaker than me, or something like that. Yes, and also it increases when people get older, and the higher people are in the hierarchy in the organization, the more internal they are. Okay, an example of that would be a student who failed the test. So if the person has an internal locus of control, they might think that, maybe I didn't study enough, just simply that. But if they're external, they might think that, oh, the test itself was poorly written. What kind of test is that? Or maybe the teacher is incompetent, and that's why I am really, really good. Okay, that's not me. It's all you. Okay, again, some examples for you. So external means that things happen to you. So some thoughts in your mind could be, why does everything happen to me? Why is it? Why should it be me all the time. There is nothing I can do about my future. And why bothering? Like everything is pretty fine, okay? In the internal case, you make things happen. And you think, I can make things happen. I can determine my future, so it depends on me. And look at what I can do. I I did it. Yes, I put my effort and I did it. And many times, internal locus of control is associated with autonomy, so ability to use the self-reference and the internal drive motivations and internal reference to define what is going to happen or what your decisions would be. And the external is associated with victim position. So it means that, oh, this is, I'm such a poor little person here, and everything has happened. I can do nothing about this. And the opposite of that is the author position that, okay, I'm creating the situation. So if the bus is not coming, you might think, oh, this government, they can't just, I don't know, fix the timetable. And maybe this is not about Germany, but the rest of countries, they can't fix the timetables, and why don't they just do something about this? And in the author position, you would think, okay, this happened, but what can I do at this moment to actually fix the situation? Okay, so I can take a bicycle, I can take a taxi, I can ask somebody for a ride. Be careful with that one. I can just take a walk, maybe it's time to take a walk, or I can take a lime. And there are like 100 million options that you can choose instead of just ruminating in your head of why and who is responsible for what has happened to you. Okay? And then these are some conclusions. Developing the internal locus of control is important because you and only you can change your life. And you have to stop blaming everyone and everything and accept your role in it and find a way to change it. Okay, so this comes from a book called Working Easily from Cousin Tate. She's pretty interesting author, and I will give you some more information from that book. Okay, this is another book from Carol Dweck. This is really revolutionary. You might want to read that one too. So she introduces two other concepts which are somehow related to the previous ones, but they are somehow different. So this is the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. In the fixed mindset, the individual thinks that, you know, I have certain abilities and that abilities can't really be developed. That if I have that, that's what I have. I have to work with that. Okay, and these are the people who get really discouraged by the failure, and that it limits their abilities and it defines them, and it tells them like that. Okay, this is you failed and you're a loser and things like this. But in the growth mindset, the opposite of the fixed mindset, people think that, okay, things can be changed. If I can sing really well right now, maybe I can learn it. And if I failed, this is just a feedback that, okay, I'm not so good at this moment. Maybe I didn't work so hard, but at the end I can develop the skills and be better. Or maybe this is not something I really need to do. Yeah, and they think that challenges can help them grow, and that feedback can be constructive. It's not always just blaming and things like this. So this kind of growth mindset, it opens a lot of opportunities actually, because it helps you to try new things. It tells you, okay, like, so if I come tomorrow to the class, or if I call you on Tuesday and I say, okay, why don't we all learn to type, in a blind way, and someone would say, oh, I just have to type like this, and this is how I am, this is not changeable, and just think of what you thought when I said this, and someone would say like, okay, like, how can I develop this skill? All right, so, and those who would be open to developing it and to finding out would be actually the ones who would improve it, not the ones with the fixed mindset. Okay, so you can explore about this topic a little bit more if you wish, if it sounds interesting to you. And also in the presentation I will send you, there will be a TEDx video from the author. You can explore about it like that.